Welcome to the Fright Lab. I'm Lucas Yoakum, and this is entry number 29 into the 31 Days of Horror, 31 Days of Halloween, the 31 for 31 challenge. We are rounding the bend, man. We're nearly through this month, and I'm sad to see it go. But we got a few more movies to talk about before we let that happen. And specifically, right now, we're talking about a real oddball, a real dark horse on my list. But I'm glad that I decided to throw it on there because I've never watched it in its entirety. At least not that I can ever recall, as is often the case. Galaxy of Terror. What the hell is Galaxy of Terror? Galaxy of Terror is that weird, terrible intersection of high concept, high thought, deep plot, artful sort of thinking about a horror movie, then produced by Roger Corman. I'm mostly joking when I crack jokes about Roger Corman because I really do actually admire his work. There's no modern horror cinema without the guy. But a lot of times he was pushing for movies to be made under budget and before schedule, and it shows. But I will also say that he also helped launch the career of a lot of directors, and that his method of filmmaking is very inspirational for people who are wanting to make something good and cheap, which is getting easier to do now. So what is Galaxy of Terror about? There's a group of almost space marines. They're soldiers and explorers and scientists and psychics who work in space for somewhat unspecified reasons at the behest of this maybe God, maybe omnipotent, maybe space alien character, the Master. They're going to a planet, and on this planet they're going to find out why another group that went out there encountered something and never came home. Well, I'm not spoiling anything with this movie by saying the premise is thus: they arrive on the planet, they're afraid of stuff, that stuff happens. Cool. Kind of a neat concept, right? You can probably tell by the tone in my voice that it sort of goes wrong somewhere along the line. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm shitting on this film, because actually I think it's a cool idea. And I think that there's a lot of neat stuff in there. And I think with a bigger budget, it could have done more. It just kind of misses the mark. So, Galaxy of Terror is deeply indebted to a movie like Alien, and it kind of looks the part. There's a little H.R. Geiger-y thing going on in this, but it's not very good in that regard. I don't think it nails it down. But when you're talking about the design of a film like Alien, you're talking about one of those 1 in a million films that no one else could have pulled off without that team and that crew and that budget and that director. This movie has none of those, but it is pretty good in that regard. I do think it's visually quite memorable. Most of the characters are a little forgettable. Now, Robert Englund is in the film, very young Robert Englund, and also Sid Haig, always welcome on screen. We miss you, Sid. We hope you're doing good wherever you are, sir. They're cool. Their characters are nonsense, but they're fun. The Master, this alien character, the only thing I can say is, what the fuck is the Master? They never bother explaining much about him at all, and I kind of wish they would. Not like we need some sprawling backstory, but just some bloody context would be nice. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Context. I like this movie ultimately, but what the fuck is this universe it's in? I kind of feel like throughout the entire film, despite really paying attention to it, that I've been dropped in media res with it all the time. You're always in the middle of a thing. They're explaining concepts to you, sort of. They're referencing a lore that never is expounded upon. And I don't think you have to. Sci-fi kind of works that way sometimes. But, ultimately, sadly, this movie is full of really, really great, scary ideas and some neat visual ideas. And unfortunately, the cast and the crew aren't fully up to it. No, again, not to say there's bad acting in this film universally. No, there's some cool performances, but most of the cast can't hack it. It's not to say that the special effects aren't neat and inventive in a couple of places, but here again, they also kind of look a little cheap. So I will say, though, as a study in what an inventive set of filmmakers and film producers and an inventive cast can pull off, this one works if you're into that sort of thing. If you don't mind cheap sci-fi, if you don't mind kind of the grindhouse edge of that world, I can see the appeal of it. I feel like in a way, it's a kind of darker or more gothic themed kind of 1950s sci-fi in a way. I don't know. I won't recommend this movie to everybody. I will say that if you like that sort of weirdness, then this will scratch your itch, I guess. So we're going to wrap it here. We're going to keep this a shorter review. There's not much more to say about Galaxy of Terror. So have you seen it? Do you enjoy it? And what other weird, cheap sci-fi horror joints would you recommend me go check out? And you can let us know by reaching out to us at thefrightlabpodcast@gmail.com. We can be found on basically every social media platform along with YouTube and Discord. Just look for The Fright Lab. And as always, I'm Lucas Yoakum, and I am the writer and researcher for this show. The one and only Joseph Wren is our producer and engineer, and most of the time my co-host. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll talk to you all again soon. And hey, don't get shipwrecked on any B-grade sci-fi horror planets while you're enjoying your Halloween season, all right? Talk to you later.